So good morning again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our technical webinar on our new Safetica ONE version 11. My name is Jiří Kůr. I'm a product manager here at Safetica. And today's webinar is going to be led by my colleague, Jan Lakotoš, who is the head of product of Safetica ONE and who is the main man behind this version. Before we start, let me do a bit of a housekeeping. What you will be seeing today in the webinar, you can try yourself later today, because we will be sending an email with download links, so you can download and install the new version of Safetica even today. However, you cannot upgrade your environment just yet. You can do a fresh installation, you can run it in your test environment, or you can play with the demo data. If you will have any question on the topic during the webinar, please use the question box in the GoToWebinar application. We will try to answer those either in written or later in the Q&A section at the end of the webinar. If your question will not be answered during the webinar, don't worry. We will try to reach out to you and we will try to answer the questions via email. So without further ado, let me hand over the word to Janko.
Hello everyone, and hello again if you joined our webinars last week already. We're excited today to share with you Safetica 11 for you to try, but we also wanted to give you a little bit of technical explanation behind what you will see in the new version, and hopefully we will answer all the questions that need to be answered before you try the version yourselves. So let's get to it. I believe you came for a real live practice, so let's see how the actual product looks like. With this, I have switched to my virtual machine where I have already installed Safetica. And let's imagine I just finished the installation. The installation finished successfully, and I want to access the console. So I open the web browser, which will be opened for you automatically after the installation. So we try to make it simple for you. And here we have actually skipped one step. The step was to insert a license and activate the product. So that's something you have to do immediately after installation. You can use your existing license if you have one. All NFR, trial, and real licenses are working. So there is no change there. So feel free to try any of the licenses you are already using for running Safetica. Again, I will just stress that there was no update happening. This is a clean environment where no Safetica was running before. No update happened. This is really a clean installation. And what I'm showing you now is what happens after a clean installation. Updates will be made possible later this year. We hope to finish them sometimes in the first half of the year. We are working on them, but this is not yet ready. So for now, Safetica 11 requires a clean installation. So you can see that instead of logging into the product immediately, I'm asked to create an account. So in the new version, you are required to use your own account, and all administrators, if you are sharing Safetica, should have their own account, because we are logging everything that's happening, and you will also see how the accounts are visualized in the console, so that administrators can easily see who was changing settings or who made any change in the product, in the configuration, so that you can hand over information between each other. So let's try to create an account here. I'm required to insert the full name. Let's say I'm called Safetica ONE, and my email is safetica.one@safetica.com. I'll just copy this because I may need the email later. And I'm required to insert the password. So let's try a simple one this time. And again, one mandatory step is agreeing with our end user license agreement. And after this, I am okay to continue. So now my user account is being created and it's done. But still, onboarding continues. I have to insert some information about my company, about my environment. So let's say I'm Safetica company. I'm from a technological industry, obviously. And here you can see that from my email that I used for registering, we already pre-filled the company email domain here. This will be used to create some items in zones, which we now call workspaces. So by default, we use this company domain to create a zone item for Safetica.com as a web address and Safetica.com as an email domain, which are considered safe by default. You can obviously change this later, but you will see in a few moments where this is put in place. It's for us to help you understand how workspace should be used, and in case this makes sense within the security of the company, it's already a predefined rule that you can just use without any further configuration. And again, Safetica is a Czech company, so let's put Czechia here, and let's get started. This very fast onboarding just takes a few seconds to finish. So right now, the product is being prepared. Some final configurations are happening in the background. And while this finishes, maybe you would be interested in understanding what's running in the background. So if I switch to the process hacker here, and we switch to services, and I look for Safetica, you may notice that there is the familiar Safetica management service running as usual. You may know this from previous versions of Safetica ONE already. But additionally, on top of that, we have a Safetica service called Safetica Service, which is now new. It handles many of the new things related to the new console. We are slowly moving functionality from the old service to the new one. Right now, both are installed at the same time. Both are required to run so that everything works correctly, but it shouldn't really be anything of an issue. The new service is built on new technologies. We've been testing it for over a year, so this is not something completely new. We've been running it internally for a very, very long time, and everything is installed automatically within the installation as a single package. So you don't have to install one thing, then the other thing. Everything is bundled together and installed at the same time. And you can also see that some SQL session is running for the Safetica database. Nothing else is running on this computer just yet. So let's imagine this is a server for now without any clients. You can see the configuration has finished, and immediately after first installation, you can see that the Safetica instance has been filled with demo data. So this is great for people who want to showcase the product. So in case you want to cleanly install Safetica 11, show it to a customer, you can use this built-in demo data, which show you some flows, which make you understand the product along with some real-life use cases. All the demo data are actually assigned to this demo group of users. And hopefully for people, customers who were to install the product themselves, this also gives them a glimpse of what will be happening once they deploy Safetica into their entire environment. So this is new, and again, I can browse through all the records views. In case you would be interested in knowing how record views look like, we can get back here maybe in the second half of the webinar if the questions and time allow us to do so. But these were showcased on last week's webinars. I believe with the new version that you received today in your inbox, you will get a recording of the webinar from last week, where we showcased how records can be browsed, what's the logic between them, how various details for applications or data work. So for more detail, we can either come back to this topic today, or you can watch the webinars from last week. Today, I would focus more on the manage section, which we didn't explore very much last week, and the settings section, which is something that you may care about as the administrators of Safetica. So with this, I will be switching to settings. And you can see we have a few tabs here, and I'll be switching to accounts for now. Here you can see that my account was created during the installation. If I want, I can open it. I can change things here. The accounts now consist of a username, which needs to be in email format from Safetica 11 onwards, from password that you can change, from full name, which is displayed in various parts of the product, and then there are permissions here. There is an assign teams part where you can see the default account got rights to the entire company and all these permissions are turned on. In case I would like to limit this, but maybe I'll do that for a second user. So let's create a second user at Safetica.com. I'll create again some simple password here. and it will be second user. Maybe for the second user, I don't want to allow the whole company, but I want to only give them rights to the demo group. But here I will highlight one thing. This assign teams input only works for now with user data. So here you are selecting what kind of records the user can browse. For this second user, this configuration means that they can browse records from the demo group. So they can explore what data operations were happening, what application, web, and email activity was happening within the demo group, but they won't see any other group except for this one. But all the other permissions that you can see on the screen are global. So in case you give rights to policies, this is not counted in, and the user can manage all policies in the company. The user can also manage all workspace and all data classification in the company. They can also manage all users and all devices, and they can also change all settings and all configuration. So probably we don't want to do this for the second user, who would be probably a manager of demo group, just a person browsing through data but not really changing the security configuration. In the future, we definitely want to make these permissions more granular, but we try to make them simple, and we are looking forward to the feedback. What is missing here, how this would behave in case I limited policies to only a certain demo group, because there are many use cases that you run into once you try thinking about limiting rights to a specific user group while doing configuration, because you do a very local configuration change, but it can affect the whole company. So these are things we didn't have a clear answer to at the moment. So we decided to just simplify things, split teams only for user data. All the other configuration policies are global for now, but together with your feedback and your ideas, we will definitely be open to expanding the permissions in a more granular way in future versions. Another thing that you can do right now is with users, you can disable them. Right now, there is no way to delete a Safetica account, so deletion is missing. We will replace this discard button with the delete button in the next few weeks. But in the meantime, if you have a user that you don't want to use anymore, you can simply disable them. And in one of the future versions, you will be able to clean up your disabled users and just remove them altogether. And here you can see that on the overview, one user is enabled, the other is disabled. One user is administrator, the other is only a record viewer, and this one has full access, and this one only has access to this analyze section. You can see we have an analyze section, extra section, manage section, and then we have settings. So this is how the new accounts work. These accounts also have access to the Safetica maintenance console. I will close my browser just for a little while, and I will open this desktop application, which will look familiar, but I'm sure it will look very different once we log in. And I will just try using the same account as I used to log into the desktop console. So let me log in here. Again, I need to log into my server, which is called S11 February 15th. And once I log in, you can see that our desktop console has changed dramatically. It only consists of a few leftover functionality settings that are not yet available in the new console. So there is a button to open the web browser with the console itself. It's a hint that maybe you are using something that is legacy and the new console is available here. For now, we have alerts configuration available in the desktop console, and we have many of the former maintenance settings along with BitLocker device management here. Basically, if you see a maintenance view that is missing in the list, it's already replaced in the new console. And BitLocker we included here because we think it's a functionality that will take a little while until we make it available in the new console, and we want to have it available for first updaters who decide to go to Safetica 11 and they were using BitLocker disks with previous versions of Safetica. So this is fully configurable, it's working, and is there especially for people who will be migrating in the next few months to Safetica 11. Okay, and also you see profile here, which includes server settings. So this is really just aimed at various maintenance, administration, and configuration parts of Safetica. We believe that many users, especially new users, will be satisfied with the new interface only. But if there is a critical functionality that you are missing in the new interface, you can download and install this maintenance console separately and connect to the same environment with your same user accounts and manage additional settings that are missing temporarily until we introduce them in the new interface. I'll leave this on in case we need this console later in the webinar. But for now, let's switch back to the environment in the browser. So these were accounts. Again, the accounts are something that you create, and we advise you to create separate accounts for all users. At the moment, email is only used in the format of a username. We don't send registration emails, but we want to make this happen in the future. So there will be a nice registration form in the future where you can just simply insert an email and invite a colleague to join Safetica, create their own account, and you will be able to just send them a link which they can use to join the product and start using it. One more thing I will show here under settings shortly is the subscription and license management view. Here you can see that this environment has been activated with a Safetica Enterprise license, which also includes the UEBA add-on. You can see I have 5 licenses right now, and actually 0 of them are assigned. This means that I still have 5 free licenses, but you notice that I already have some users in my user tree. So how come and how this is happening? If I switch to the Manage Users view, you will see that under the license tab, I have no one. And under unlicensed, I have all the demo users that are prepared in the first installation. So we are missing a real user here. So no one is consuming licenses at the moment. I have the product activated, but I still have 5 licenses that I can use. I can always take a user which is unlicensed and move them as licensed. And again, this is reflected under license management. You can see that 2 licenses have been consumed. Probably I don't want to do that for demo users because these are really just for demonstration purposes. So let's remove licenses. But maybe it's a good idea to enroll a machine here and start using Safetica in a real environment. So let's try to do that. For that, I switch to the devices view. Here again, you see many demo machines. And in case you don't want to see them, you are not interested in seeing these are here so that you see what will be available under devices. You can always just select machines and mark them as deleted, which virtually hides them from the entire product so that they no longer are there because you consider these machines outdated or they have been removed from the company. Maybe they were replaced for a user and they are just leftovers that are somewhere still being logged, but they are actually not used and they are inactive. But to introduce an active machine, you would need to enroll it. To do that, under Manage Devices, on the top right part, there is a Download Installer button where you can download the Windows installer or the Mac installer for the endpoint client. So let's do the Windows installer download. You can see this was downloaded. It's probably being checked for viruses. And once I install it, it's a very, very simple and fast task. The Safetica agent has been installed. And in a short while, it will appear here. And we can already see it. You can see the device is not installed. The cool new thing in Safetica 11 is that there is only one installer also for Windows machines and also for Mac machines. You could see that I installed the agent, and now we have it auto-configured to download the client from the server and deploy it automatically. So if I refresh this view, you will see that the client is actually being installed already. And in a short while, it will be waiting for a restart. And you can see already that the machine is showing up green. There is this green dot that says the Windows machine is active. You can see the last responses in the past minute, so all is looking fine. And again, if I refresh this, okay, it's still installing. And again, if I go back to users and refresh the view, you see the one actual user. This is the user I'm logged in with on this machine. And if I visit back the subscription part and probably refresh it, let's refresh it. You can see the license is already assigned, it's being used, so my user is protected already. And again, if I refresh this, okay, this is still installing. Maybe one more. Okay, it's waiting for a restart, and I actually want to do a restart during this webinar. I'm feeling adventurous today, so let's try to restart the machine to have the client up and running fully. So let's just restart this. And while the machine is restarted, I will mention one significant change that is occurring with Safetica 11. We have actually decided to switch to a user-based licensing with Safetica 11. This means that if you purchase a subscription for Safetica, it's no longer tied to endpoint computers, but it's tied with endpoint users. For many companies, this will make no difference. We check the data of use with current customers, and the vast majority of them really have the number of endpoints and number of users aligned. And of course, there will be some grace periods when even if a company doesn't have the numbers aligned, we let them use their existing license. When they switch to Safetica 11, their existing purchased number of licenses until the license expires. And if there is a discrepancy and in number of users, they will be actually charged only at the next renewal that they will have in the future. We are doing this change because we see a trend everywhere to charge based on users, but also we are planning to introduce cloud security modules, which will protect users not only when they are working on protected endpoints, but also when they are working on their home computers, when they access a web interface only, and they work with cloud files directly on the cloud. To do that, we will need to identify users, and probably you don't want to pay for the same user twice when there is a user working on the endpoint and the same user working just in the web interface. So by this change, we are also preparing for the future when users are more distributed, they are working on several machines, or they are working only in the web interface without using any physical machine. So this is a preparation of a kind for also these kind of use cases, so that Safetica can be licensed even for cloud-only users, for instance. My machine has restarted. It will be a little slow to start. It's not a super powerful machine, but let's try to see how fast I can get back to the console already. Again, I'll just remind you that on this machine I have the server running and also the client running right now, so it takes a little while to start properly. Okay, there is a certificate issue. I'll just confirm it. And okay, let's just give it a second. Okay, things are still getting loaded. So if I return back to the console, and again, I'll use my Safetica ONE, Safetica COM user. I will be remembered by my browser so that I don't have to log in several times during the next few minutes. And again, once everything loads under devices, you will see my endpoint, hopefully in OK state, which will demonstrate that everything is running fine, the endpoint is protected, all the configuration and policies actually are in place on the endpoint. Okay, so you can see here, the client is installed, status is OK. You can see protection settings have been updated 2 minutes ago. Records have not yet been sent, so there is a very scary date here, but it will be probably changed in the next few minutes. And with this, I would like to highlight that after first installation, there are already some protection configurations in place. So if I go to protection, you can see that there are 2 protection policies already in place. One general policy, which is logging everything that is outgoing from the company so that you have an overview. And there is a notification policy also for sensitive data, which shows up a notification when user is working with sensitive information. You can see that there are 3 data classifications tied here. So if I switch here, there are 3 built-in data classifications that you can use, you can discard, you can adjust to your liking. And you can see that we are looking for some financial information, we are looking for some healthcare related information, and some personal information. Obviously, these templates we want to make more and more accurate as time goes by. For now, they are very broad, they are using built-in settings, but it should be good enough to get started. There is also an application policy which is blocking dangerous applications. There is a policy for blocking dangerous websites. So this is application control and web control for those of you who have used Web Safetica before. And there is auditing policies set up. Auditing policies are basically for configuring what is monitored everywhere. So here you can see that for my whole company, for all enrolled endpoints and users, we are auditing everything. We are auditing applications, external devices, emails, files, print, and also websites. In case I want to override this for a selected user, I can either choose a user and remove it from this, or I can use the policy system that you should be familiar with, and you can create an exception for, I don't know, design department, where I can easily just choose the design group, and I will just create an overriding configuration to disable monitoring for all designers in my company, because there is a reason to do that. So with this, I have the policy in place, and if I'm fine with it, I can enable it. And this means that for design department, all these things will be disabled, and this policy won't apply because it's lower. For everybody else from all other departments, everything will be turned on, just as you remember. And again, here you may notice some cool thing. In case there are several administrators working with this instance of Safetica, the changes that I do are actually dated, and you can easily see which user changed which setting. So in case previously you've run into an issue that someone was changing settings and you didn't keep track of them, now you can easily see who edited what. We have this information available for all policies and for all data classifications too. And in the future, we want to have a very detailed audit log when you can see changes done by every user. So again, as I mentioned, already after first installation, after first enrollment of first endpoints, some protection is in place. So let's try it. Let's try how it works. I have a link here for WeTransfer, and I have another link for file.io, which are some file sharing services. Internet is kind of slow for me, so hope you can still hear us and see us clearly. And let's try to upload some files. I have two files prepared on my desktop, one regular file and one sensitive file. Let's try to upload them. You can see the files are being uploaded. It's taking a little while because we are scanning the files for sensitive information. And there you go. We can see that sensitive file is actually notified, but I will upload it anyway. And I'll do the same for file IO, just so that you see two different examples, because I will be still showing something else. So let's upload these two files. You can see sensitive file again is notified. I've uploaded them here, and the files are gone. So what actually happened on the endpoints? Let's go back to Safetica, and let's go to data to investigate. Here you can see that my user Safetica is already reporting some information, but these are mixed up with demo data. So once you get into a phase where demo data are no longer so interesting and you want to focus on your enrolled machines, there is a way to quickly discard the demo data. So in case you don't want the demo data to mess with your environment, you can go to settings, and under these general settings overview, there is a remove demo data button, which I can click. And once I confirm this, you can see demo data are being removed. It takes a little while, but we are discarding all records or demo users, everything that was tied to the demo data that were present at installation. And if I come back to data, it will load for a little while because still the demo data are being deleted. You can see they have been removed now. And I'm a very impatient user, so I'll refresh. And now you can easily see only the new real life logs coming in from your enrolled endpoints. So you can see there were some file operations happening on the machine. And you can see here is an open action. Here are some uploads. You can see some of the events were notified, some were logged, and so on and so on. You can always click the file. And again, as we showed already last week, we can see the history of the file quickly summarized here with all the security events maybe worth noticing. And you can investigate anything that would be of interest. Again, if you want to create a very nice, quick, interactive report from this to only show the incidents, you can quickly browse for action, and you will all include logged and notified actions for last 7 days, or maybe you can expand it to last 30 days. And as I showed you already last week, you can easily just bookmark, and this would be DLP incidents in last 30 days. And if you save this bookmark and you carry on, you do anything that you would be doing in your environment, there is always this bookmark that you come back to that opens this nice view. And in case there are more security incidents happening, this view will immediately show all of them in one consolidated place. You can even set up grouping maybe by user, which would be kind of logical. And you can even save this by user incidents. And again, if I open this in a new tab, the same thing will pop up immediately. So this way you can come back to investigation and explore records. But there are some other cool things happening. And under workspace, you will see some changes. So workspace is now the new name for zones. And for now, it's very simple, but we wanted to make it super simple. So we actually like how it looks. And it's kind of automatic. So right now, manual addition of workspaces and workspace items is not yet available. We are adding it soon. But for now, we auto detect new destinations in the company. So you can see I used file.io and we transferred to upload some files. And this is probably something that is worth categorizing. This is something I probably don't want to be used in my company. So you can see save destinations set up by the onboarding, where I added the Safetica.com email domain as safe. I added Safetica.com as a safe web domain for uploads, but these probably shouldn't be safe. So all I have to do is just grab them, put them onto untrusted destinations. And now when I have a policy which is saying safe destinations can be ignored, but protect all other destinations, this will be reflected too. Of course, you can always just use unassigned, leave it all here, and let Safetica decide what to do. But there is also a way how to control all these untrusted destinations. To manage this, I will quickly just venture into protection, or if I add a new protection policy, block untrusted workspace, and I will probably like block all things going to this untrusted workspace. So I can either set up things in an advanced way, and I can say that maybe upload should be blocked for all destinations, removable storage should be only blocked for everything except save destinations. Maybe for remote transfer, I don't want to control it in any way. Maybe for instant messaging, I only want to set up notification policy. So right now, you also have the possibility to quickly change very granular settings under policies with this simple checkbox, which enables you to create various combinations within a single policy. So this is no longer a block untrusted workspace, but it would be manage untrusted workspace. And even if you want to create more combinations, you can add something several times. And you can probably say that untrusted destinations should be blocked always for upload. And for all other cases, you just want to maybe notify it. So even within just a single policy, you can create separate configurations for the same destination type depending on the workspace which is used. So you can create a logic that untrusted destinations should be blocked, while at the same time, if something is not untrusted by this policy, it will be notified. So this is a very advanced view. I encourage you to try it on your own, maybe play with combinations and see how they work, because you can really go very, very crazy with this, and you can create very, very difficult, complicated combinations, which is great in case you want to have 100% of control over everything. But if this is too much, you can always just switch off this advanced view. You can simply name the destination types. You can create one single action, and then you can just choose the destinations on which you want to apply this. So this is a very nice rule. Maybe I'm comfortable. I don't want to go crazy at this time, and I just want to block untrusted workspace. And I can just do this. Block untrusted workspace for any data classification. Action is blocked for untrusted destinations, and all these destination types will be considered for the whole company. So by this, I can save this. The policy is in place. All I have to do is activate it. In case you want to activate right away, all you have to do is switch this enabled disabled state. But I like to check what my policy looks like before I activate it and put it in place. So again, in Workspace, you will see more and more unassigned destinations pop up as your users are sending files. So when they send a file to a website, it will appear here in the same way as WeTransfer. If they send files to an email domain, it will appear as an email domain. If they transfer files to a network share drive, it will appear here. If they copy files to flash drives, the flash drives will appear here. So this way you will be easily seeing what's inside your company. And in case it's something that you want to consider safe or especially untrusted, you can always move the items like I showed here. Again, if you don't like something, you can always remove it. And last week I was showing you even groups and folders that you can create here. These are not available in the first release because we didn't finish the group detail enough so that it's comfortable to use. The teams are working on making this available. So hopefully in one of the next versions, you will see also grouping. So in case you want to create a Safetica group under which you want to merge these two items, this will be possible in a future version. But for now, this is not available today. It's coming very, very soon, however. So I showed you how Workspace works. We showed some of the protection parts. I was showing data classification on the previous webinar last week. I wouldn't like to kill too much time here today, but if you have questions related to data classification, we can definitely answer them still. We showed you users and how licensing, unlicensing works. We went through devices and how devices can be managed from this view, how you can download the installer and deploy it. And there are still a couple of things that we missed here under settings. So here under settings, there is a general view where basically the onboarding information are filled in for you to edit if you want. And the important part, or maybe the interesting part here, is the language and format settings. So right now we support 2 languages, but more are coming, and they are coming soon. For now, the setting is global. So if you change it to Czech, you are changing it for all users at the moment. But we are working on creating user profiles, so you will be able to click your user avatar and edit settings there, and there you will be able to change your language and customize the default, which is right now the only setting. So for now, let's keep English. You can also change the date and time format. There will be more date and time formats coming. For now, you can switch between Czech and English in case you want to override the language setting. And there is also a cool thing about time units where you can choose what kind of time formats you want to use, whether only hours and minutes, or if hours overflow over 8 hours, you will use man days, or in case you are working with even more large time frames, you can use even weeks as a format. This setting then affects how information are shown here. In case you were grouping records and you would group by okay, maybe by time, and you would group by number of records. Okay, I don't have too much information here because I deleted the demo data, but you can see I have 14 minutes here. I can choose how this will behave when I have longer time frames. So if I have 62 hours it can be translated into man days, or you can keep hours. Or if you are working with time frames of hundreds or thousands of hours, you can even use weeks, because that would be something that you would see if you summarize information for the last 12 months. Unfortunately, I can't show it anymore because I deleted the demo data, but I imagine the setting is kind of clear and you understand the point of it. So again, for now, these settings are global, but in the next few versions, we will be adding customization for specific users. So this will be something that you can adjust for yourself, while the other Safetica administrators can use their setting. And the final tab, which we didn't cover, is the update tab. Probably it looks different than what you imagined. So for now, we don't have updates automatically available. You need to run the manual installation to update the Safetica environment, but this is also something we are working on. Right now, we only show you the current version here, and to do the update, you have to download a new version, install it over your existing installation, and there you go. But we will be adding a very similar view to what is available in the desktop console. So if I log in here for a little short while, under update and deploy, you are probably familiar with the server update page, where if there is a new version, there is a simple button that you can click. The version is downloaded and installed. This is what we are aiming for in the new console too. Once we have it, we remove it from the desktop console, obviously. But while this is not yet ready, you only see the version detail here, and you need to use the installer to update. I believe this is something we will cover in the next few weeks, so don't worry. This is just a very temporary stage, but we think it's good enough for you to try the version, let us know the feedback, and we can start working on making what you saw today even better. So this is all that we intended to show you from our side. Maybe we can still show some data classification use cases, but before we go there, maybe it's a good idea to take a look at questions and answer as many of them as possible. I see that Jiří was already answering some questions, maybe in the text form. But if there are any that we can answer with a real life example, we can do that, of course.
Yeah. So one of the questions here: can we create zone groups as version 10? So can you please comment on that?
Yes, this is what I mentioned. Zone groups not yet available. We are working on it. We were missing a possibility to view the group. So we were able to group items, but you couldn't see the group anywhere. So we need to finish the detail for the groups. We will probably work on it in the next 2 weeks, and we see how fast we can finish it. Once we have it, we will enable zone grouping. For now, grouping only works in such a way that you put something under safe or under untrusted. But in a future version, once you update, you will be able to join two pieces together, create a group, or create additional groups on top of it.
Okay, thank you. Another question: would we still be able to add special expression within the data classification tab?
Of course. So under data classification, I will just create a fast classification example. So now I have a data classification created. Here under rules, you can create all these things that are here. So regular expressions are available. You can combine them with keywords. You can combine them with algorithms. You can even combine it with more keywords if you need an AND relationship. And the new thing, which I didn't comment on today, but we showed it last week, is that you can combine these also with contextual rules. So you can also say, you are looking for all these expressions, keywords, algorithms, when a file comes from this network path, and when the file is something. For example, it could be a PDF file from, okay, I need a backward slash, and I need English keyword to do that. You like network. So this is how you can set this up, and I'm only missing the rule name, so I will just insert a rule name here, and I will continue with empty settings. So you can, okay, I didn't save anything, so I missed it. So this would be like Safetica, the keyword, and I could add file path here, network, and confirm it. So you can see that this is the kind of combination you can create.
Yeah, Safetica 11 offers versatility when it comes to data classification.
Yes, definitely.
So another question, does it integrate with any data classification tool?
Right now, this is missing. We didn't manage to finish it for the initial release, but the same way as I'm adding manual rules here, I will be able to add existing data classification rules so that you can connect to Microsoft AIP, Bolden James, Titus, or any other data classification that is using the standard metadata format. So not yet available. We just simply didn't finish it, but it can be added fast. Let us know if this is important to you and we can prioritize it.
Another very important question here pops up. How about security audit? Are we going to have security audit in Safetica 11?
Security audit is not yet available, but we want to make it the first report that you can generate from the new console. So this is something coming rather soon. There is no timeline that I can share with you because we still need to do research when we can have it all available. But we are working on it, and I believe in the next few months we will have security audit. We already know from beta testers that this is super important to partners who start with security audit with new customers. So this is coming as soon as we can get it up and running.
Okay, the questions are popping up. Let me pick another one. Okay, data classification, would it be like labeling or tagging only like it used to be, or is it going to be changed?
So this is a great question. You can see that there are new combinations possible that were not possible before. So if you knew Safetica 10, we are now combining sensitive data classification with origin or context rule classification along with file attribute classification. In order to achieve this, we needed to rework classification completely. And right now, we still use tagging, we still use writing to metadata, but the core of the classification is a brand new technology. We call it security context. And it's something that is present on every endpoint. And it's kind of a database, a local database that remembers information about files. And within the security context database, we are storing all information we know about the file. So if you download a file from network, we know that about the file. If you add Safetica as a keyword to a file, we scan it and we add this information into this security context database. And if the file type is correct, we can evaluate all these information at the same time. Tagging, NTFS tagging is still part of this. It's no longer the main technology, how we classify files, but it's helping us to keep information about files when they are moving across endpoints. But now the core of the classification lies in this new technology, which is combining all different inputs and storing all information about the files. Another reason why we did this is that this way we can remember history of files. And if you take a file, you download it from network, and you move it to another network storage, and then someone else downloads it from there, we can keep the history of the file. Or we can remember that at some point in the past, Safetica was inside the file, and it meant that maybe it should be classified as sensitive. Now that Safetica has been removed, it's no longer a sensitive file, but some of the previous versions were indeed sensitive. And it can help you with investigation of various incidents. And once we have this classification even more robust than it is today, we will enable you to see a very nice lifetime of a file with all its history, how it traveled through various systems, what kind of users edited or changed the file, and how classification was always changing with the lifetime of a file. So this new technology is not just a local solution for a local problem. It's something of a new vision that we have for classification. And since we understood that many of you told us it's not good to only have content or only have context approach, we made it possible to combine everything like you can see on the screen, and this new technology is what is powering this all classification system. In case you want to know even more details, this is something that we can maybe touch upon offline, and definitely like there are teams working on this technology, so the nuances are very, very detailed, and in the future we will make this even more and more robust. So you can expect that in future versions of Safetica we bundle more and more use cases which are working thanks to this technology.
Okay, another question. The old console had a help button at the top right corner. Is there going to be something similar in new console?
Yes, we have a work item which didn't get into the final sprint, and that work item will add a help button either next to this avatar icon or under this menu. So there will be a help button that you can click, and it will take you to our support portal, support.safetica.com, which I encourage you to visit, and it will be also linked in the email that you receive with the Safetica 11 version. And now we have a new Safetica ONE 11 part of the knowledge base with many new articles prepared for you. So this is what the help button will take you to. Maybe in the future we will have even more detailed help with other interactive possibilities, but for now this is what the help button will look like. It's not yet available. Probably it's coming in the next week or two or a month or two. We simply didn't manage to squeeze it in before the release.
Is there going to be any guidelines how to migrate from Safetica 10 to Safetica 11?
Definitely. Update is something that we need to address first technically so that it's possible to migrate. And then it will be a question of functionality and feature set. So imagine update is working and available, but still some functionality that you had in Safetica 10 is missing from Safetica 11. So we will probably inform every customer that some of their settings, some of their features are not yet supported. They will lose them if they update, or we will tell them you need to turn these off before you update because you will be losing them anyway. But the specifics about the update, we will definitely share when the update is ready. We are in early stages when we are working on converting old data and old settings to a new format. Once we have that, we will work on the rest of the technology to make the update possible so that all the components can be restarted and replaced with new ones. So update is a topic for the next month. And once we have more information about how it will work, we will definitely have a session about that. And I expect that there will be a lot of partner communication going on about the update before we make it available.
People are also asking whether there is going to be recording of this webinar. It's going to be there. You will be. We will send you a link via email with the recording. So if you joined late, no worries. You can watch it offline later on.
Yes. It won't be part of the email that you received today, but I expect that the recordings will go out in the next 2 days.
Okay, another question is on the Safetica maintenance console, the desktop console. Will it be obligatory to use, or will it be removed, or what's the plan with that?
No, we want to have this as an accompanying product. We expect the new console to be full-featured. And sometimes if you have an existing customer, or if you're very accustomed to using Safetica and all its functionality, you may be missing some of the features, some of the settings. So for you, there is a possibility to optionally install the maintenance console and run it along the new console. The installer of the maintenance console is separate, so it's not part of the main Safetica 11 installation. It will have its own release cycle when you have to update the maintenance console to have it up and working. This will be all included in the knowledge base. You can read about it, but we consider this as an optional temporary measure that you can use. But as time goes on, we will be removing more and more functionality from the desktop console, moving it to the web console, and one day the desktop console is so empty that it simply dies. Until we get there, you can optionally download and use it, but it's not at all a prerequisite for running Safetica 11.
Okay, thank you. A couple of questions regarding where can we download Safetica 11? Yeah, you can comment on that.
You will receive the download links today in the email, and we are also today updating all the license emails that we send out when releasing licenses, and also the download links will be included in the partner portal as you are used to.
Some questions on the integration with Office 365 and the CASB. Yeah. So is there going to be a 365 integration? Will it allow the block functionality, etc.?
Mm-hmm. Office 365 currently is not possible to integrate. If I go to Safetica desktop console under integration settings, you can see that Office 365 was removed from here. The reason is that for the previous version of the integration, we were using Web Safetica components, and now Web Safetica is no longer part of the product in any way. So it's completely removed, and the integration is no longer working. We are working on a new technology. It should remind you of other CASB solutions. CASB is Cloud Access Security Broker. And these solutions integrate with cloud in a different way than we used to. So this is something that will replace the previous Office 365 integration. We are making this kind of product independent, and it will be a technology that we have available for both Safetica ONE and Safetica Next. Today, if you would like to try how this works, it's already possible to pilot it within Safetica 10, but please let us know if you are interested, because it needs to be activated in a special way. But we are already testing it with selected customers, and we are working on making it available for both Safetica Next and Safetica ONE. Because we are missing so much feature set in Safetica ONE, this is something that will probably only occur in the second half of the year. Until then, I don't expect we will include integration with Office 365, but once we have it, it will be more powerful than it was before, and it will work in a very different fashion than before. So stay tuned, more information will be coming, but it's only coming once we know when we intend to release this.
Okay. So another questions on licensing. Mm-hmm. So in version 10, NFR and trial licenses were permanently assigned on machines. Is this going to change in Safetica 11? I would maybe rephrase it. There is also additional part of the question. Additionally, are the inactive users going to get unassigned at midnight like previously? So maybe I can answer that. Okay, so the users they are consuming a license if you want them to be protected by Safetica 11, and it is no matter whether they are active throughout the day. There is a user tree. You can see that there's a table with users listed, and all those users are assigned a license. So there is no time window. You can manually take such a user. If you don't want to protect him by Safetica, you can unassign the license and move him manually to a list of unprotected users. So there is no such thing as in Safetica 10. So it's a bit different. There is no restart of the licensing during midnight. It's a kind of a long-term assignment which you can manually change, but until you change it, the users are assigned license and they are protected. There is also another question. What about agent install with a different connection configuration?
Good question. This is something not yet available. Probably in one of the future versions, we make it possible to have a third button here, like configured installer, where you can configure this. Right now, we are focusing on simple environments, simple use cases to make this easy for new customers. So these advanced things not yet available, but we will be adding these as time goes on. If you see it as a blocker for many of your customers already, please let us know. We can always prioritize things that are blocking some tests or first customer onboarding.
Okay, is there any way to detect document watermark as a sensitive content in this version or in the future?
Depends on how the watermark works. If it's a real text inserted in the document, I believe our sensitive data detection can catch it. But if you are asking about some new feature which wasn't available in Safetica 10, there is nothing new related to watermark detection. So you can use existing things that you were used to in previous versions of Safetica. No special watermark detection is available yet.
Does it incorporate the network level DLP? That's a bit tricky question.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what is meant by that.
So if you are asking whether we have a network DLP component, we have, but it's running on the endpoint. So we are able to protect network connections that are occurring on endpoints. We don't have any new network component that is running only on the network independent of endpoint computers. Hard to answer that without more details.
Yeah.
Maybe if you have additional questions, feel free to approach us offline.
I think we're running out of time. Maybe one more question. What about the FortiGate integration in version 11?
FortiGate integration and also other integrations are not available. It also disappeared from the desktop console because it's currently broken. The configuration doesn't work with new database tables. We simply need to fix it. We didn't prioritize it for the first release because we saw that FortiGate integration is something more advanced that only some customers are using, and it's not a generally configured thing. We will be adding these probably in the first half of the year. If again this is something that would block you from deploying Safetica 11 somewhere, let us know, and if we can, we will prioritize this before other things.
Okay, I said it's the last question, but there is one more that I would like to be answered. Is it possible to downgrade from Safetica 11 to Safetica 10 if someone tries a Safetica 11 and figures out that the functionality is not yet ready for him?
It is. If we wipe the database and uninstall everything and then you install Safetica 10 fresh, this is possible. The licenses will work the same way. So if you have one license assigned to the customer, they can use it either with Safetica 10 or Safetica 11. But there is no automated process like a button that you push and suddenly everything is rolled back to Safetica 10. Safetica 11 is the clean installation, and if you want to replace it, you have to uninstall it, remove everything, even from the database, and then install Safetica 10 from scratch.
Yeah, so it's not a recommended thing. You would lose the data, but you can do that.
Yes.
Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Janko, for a great presentation. Just a reminder, the recording of this webinar is going to be distributed. The links are going to be distributed to you by email. Also, we will be sending out an email with download links to Safetica 11, so you can install it and try it yourself. So that's all from ourselves. Thank you again, and let's try the Safetica 11, and we hope you will enjoy it.
Thank you for joining. Have a great day, everyone.